imagine.
In the year of 1940, within the first year of the Second World War, Society members who enlisted in active service were relieved of their obligation to pay their subscriptions. These fees were paid from a society fund. This in turn reduced the repayment amount members received at year's end. Yet the most significant consequence of war for Vic and Taz was in 1942, when the Loans Committee saw the need to suspend this service. Australia found itself in uncertain times. This called for careful management, and the loan service was again continued the following year. After the Second World War ended in 1945, the Society's membership eventually grew to over 2,000 by 1950. And although the tragedy of war was evident to all Australians, the Society was financially strong.
It became well known that, if all else failed, the Vic and Taz were there. I can remember one case, a young chap was killed in a road accident over in Perth on the RAF base at Pierce, and he had a 2 or 3 year old child and a 6 weeks baby, 6 weeks old. And in those days, the RAF would do 2 things for you. And those 2 things in this case were they flew the body to Queensland, where his parents lived and where apparently he was going to be buried. And she, with a toddler and a babe in arms, she panicked and she was flown to Tasmania, where her parents lived. Then the funeral was coming up, and this was before bank cards and American Express and whatever, and she was stuck. She couldn't get from Tasmania to Queensland. And I walked up to the post office and gave them a cheque for whatever the minimum amount, or the maximum amount was in those days, I think $800. And we did a telegraphic transfer to her post office over in Tassie, over at Ross, and she was able to go down and get the $800 in cash and take it round to the travel agent and buy herself a ticket.
A popular reason for loans in the 1960s was the purchase of railway tickets. A significant letter of notification from the Commonwealth of Australia stated, "It is regretted that the Treasury cannot accede to the Society's request for fortnightly deductions to be made from officers' salary in repayment of railway ticket loans." And in 1965, as long as the Society maintains the 30-20 ratio in respect of its holdings of public securities, the Society will be exempt from income tax and social services contribution in future years. Membership grew from just over 8,000 in 1960 to 18,000 in 1980, and the assets of the Society grew from £3,000 to $30 million in the same period. The Society now operated in all states and territories of Australia and became incorporated in July 1988. The 1990s was a period of growth and high risk as Australia confronted turbulent economic times. Difficult decisions were made to protect the membership's assets. The Society's resolve held firm as membership exceeded 20,000 in 1995.
It was about 3 or 4 years ago, myself and Sam Athens were actually up in Townsville at the time, and we had to present a computer to a 5 or 6 year old little boy who had a bit of a learning disability. So we presented the computer. It was around about $2,500 to $3,000 with the computer and packages, educational packages. Just the look on the face of the mother when we presented that computer, it was a really heartwarming story. Certainly brought tears to mine and Sam's eyes because we were greeted at the door by the mother. She hugged us both, kissed us both. She was just so happy with that. and in follow-ups that we have done, just to see how the child has progressed over the years as far as education-wise. Just to be involved in an organisation like that, it just makes you so proud that in this corporate world that we can also offer that little bit extra as well.
Here it's an actual person which we talk to face to face or phone to phone, and that's the beauty of the job, and that's what I enjoy about it.
But then once I found my feet, I probably preferred the benevolent grants and dealing with the families and dealing with Margaret Fisk from the Defence Special Needs Group. That became a bit of a passion in terms of assisting families and going out of our way to help families.
First application was from a family who had a very severely disabled boy in South Australia, an Air Force family, and they needed to get a hoist for their car. They had a van, an old van. They couldn't afford to upgrade to a newer van, and with the assistance of APS Benefits, who paid for the actual hoist, the hydraulic hoist, the family were able to access other assistance just to put the proper flooring in for the van to make it secure and appropriate for the child.
It makes me feel really good. I mean, it underlines the word benevolent in our title, and that's what we're there for.
The Sixpence has endured a remarkable journey and stands on the threshold of the next 100 years. What will that future bring?
Doing what it's doing now, I think. Service to members, and unless you keep that up, the thing's going to die. But it can certainly go for another 100 years if it's nurtured.
What I don't want to see us is to get in a situation where we get so big that we become very corporate in what we do, that we forget that we've still got this great client base that we work with.
It's just like a family-run business, really, and I think if it maintains that culture, then it will ensure its longevity.
Where we've helped people out in desperate times, it just gives you a warm feeling inside, and job satisfaction, you don't get that in a lot of other areas, so I don't care if they pay me nothing. I virtually would work there for nothing, and I have said that in the past, but yeah, I just love the place. I'm so passionate about it.
Caring, approachable, compassionate, a favourite word of mine. The management is not locked away in a room. It's a sort of an open office type of approach to it. I appreciate that and welcome it.
If the members have reliance on the board, then they have reliance on the society, and that will go from strength to strength.
I think that if we hadn't started the group, there would have been a lot of families out there still doing it very, very tough and doing it by themselves, not knowing where to go, and to be linked in with APS Benefits makes it even more special because they're a partner in our organisation, they're a partner in our families' lives.
Well, there's a bit of love in what we do, really, and it's got to be a bit that way because you're dealing with people who have got difficulties, and you can't do it in any other way, really, can you?
And this business, as friendly as it always will be around for another 100 years.
The Sixpence has come a long way in 100 years. It has touched the lives of many people. It has made a difference when it was needed. And it has served to build this country in the kindest way. It has been a good friend.